record this. So welcome again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the components that we are, the exam is going to be based on some specific components. So I'm going to review them and show you where they are in Excel. And then if you've got any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Again, most of you, because again, I know you from some other classes we had. Um, I think that you could easily pass the exam. If you want to have also a very good grade, I think that is 100% possible. I'm going to review the items again. We in our STE classes and then the classes we had or the other classes you had on Excel. Um, Almost everything was covered, so you should easily answer the questions there. But again, I'm going to show you the components that you might want to review them if you have, if you have chosen to write the test. Again, as I said before, if you want to write the test, there are different ways that you can register. You need to, most of the time people go to Microsoft website and then they will try to find exam providers. They go to their website and then they will choose from different options. I do not recommend that because then you have to pay 100, I think it's like the minimum price there is like 100 US dollars. The one that we have here, so if you go to Seneca's website, it is under SSF. Again, you can easily search that. I'm going to share my screen so you can see that. So if you look for Seneca SSF Microsoft certificate, you can see that this, here we go, this one. Here is the link, and you can go and register for the tests. I'm gonna tell you something. You can double check with the with SSF when you're registering. Most of the time, it's very interesting that most of the time, if you want to get certified, most of the time you don't even specify which type of exam you want to write. Like I remember when I was doing this, I could register for anything, and I was going to the exam venue. They were like saying, okay, which one do you want to start? So I could choose anything that I wanted. Again, maybe it's different now, but some years ago it was like that. Again, so what we are looking at, we are looking at Excel, Excel expert, Word expert, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Access. I would say, for example, again, depending on the student and the knowledge you have, if you completed SWI and STE 311, I would say you can easily write any of them because you have almost all the knowledge needed for that. And then I got else before I go Microsoft Office certification. There is also something important there. When you look at that on the Microsoft website, again, check that frequently because they change it a lot. They call it Microsoft Office Specialist. What I know is that, sometimes some of these certificates will, sometimes they say they never expire, but they retire. So the difference is that, as long as you have a certificate, for example, on Excel 2013, you have it. It's not going to expire, and then you don't need to renew that. But when we are talking about retiring, it means that they will not have that certificate anymore, so you cannot write that anymore. So I will show you the combinations here. Again, these are based on 2013 version. I don't think that you should spend your time on version 2013, because right now we have, again, after 2013, we have 16, 19. Right now, the new one, when you are running that, let me close my files and reopen. You will see that right now it is, hold on. It is, some weeks ago, it was still showing as Office. It was showing as Microsoft Office 365. Now they come up with a new um, year on that. You see, whenever I'm right now running Excel on my computer or any other Office products, what happened? It is going to show Office, I think, 2023. So it's like 10 years. There's a 10 years difference between the one that you see on the screen here on Microsoft website, this one, and what you have, or what we are dealing with right now. Okay, I'm just, yeah. So again, this is, if you check this version, it is mostly, it's called right now 2023. Now, going back to the links on Microsoft, I want to show you something else. So right now, the one that you can register and get certified on is Microsoft Office 2019. And then there is a combination of certificates that you can get. And as I said, um, I would say, like, our good students that I see them also here in this class today, you can easily pass these exams. You just need to review the test, have some preparation before that, and then it's very easy to pass. It doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention. You need to stay focused whenever when you're writing the test. You need to think about the questions and also be very quick. So Microsoft Office, and then you can see that you can get other certification. So you can see that it's on this page, it says that it's going to be 100 US dollars. Again, that is not what you see on Seneca's SSF. It's like $50 there. Plus the one that you will register with SSF, they will give you free access to, Cert Prep, which is giving you some simulation or test simulation before your exam. So that helps a lot. And again, you can see that these are the certificates you can get. All of them, they have 2 levels. Both of them, they have regular certificate and expert, or the ones that are called associate certificates and expert. So, and then it is very interesting that it says to earn Microsoft Office Specialist Expert Certificate, complete the following. So if you want to get this specific certificate, you need to get 3 of the following, 3 of this. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. So all of them are like pretty easy. I would say maybe if you want to, the ones that you have worked on them before, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, they are the ones. And then you can see that the test number is like MO200, and this is the one that I'm focusing on and working on today. And then if you want to again get the MOS expert certificates, this is like something that you will get on top of everything. For this one, you need to get 2 of these as well. So again, most of the time, people are less comfortable with Microsoft Access. Majority of people go for Microsoft Word and Excel Expert. And then you can imagine, like, for the when you go to the expert one, I think majority of the time they do not want you to write highly complicated VBAs, nothing like that. It's mostly, for example, for Excel, there are more formulas that you want to see and use and utilize there. There would be some activities like creating some, for example, macros, things like that. And for Word, it is mostly the integration of Word and the other products, how to bring objects there, and how to connect them with Microsoft Access to create mail merge or, for example, letters, like mostly like mail merge, letter merge, like the merge section of that. That is what mostly you will see. So this is what I wanted to tell you. So again, the certificate that I'm going to talk about today is MO200, which is Microsoft Excel on Microsoft Office 2019 for Excel. And again, here, I'm going to show you the skills needed for this exam. Okay. So there are different areas in this exam that you need to know about it when we are having the test. Again, what I mention or I recommend that you look for is that I would say it is way much better if you can, if you are fast enough to read all the information, and then again, be fast to act, because the test, you will find it like easy. At the same time, you need to pay attention. Sometimes they're asking for some specific information, and then if you don't feel comfortable, or if you're not like very quick, you can easily miss some questions. So if I will work on this based on the area of expertise you need to have. And if you have any questions, you can always stop me. You can ask me questions. I'm going to give you breaks after about an hour of the lecture that we have. And again, if you want to ask questions, you're welcome to do it anytime needed. So the activities first, they're going to ask you again. There is a combination of questions, and it is randomly coming. So you will see that it's not just like with the order that I'm talking about here. They're going to show you the questions. It's like randomly coming to you. So importing data into workbooks. How can we import data? Again, when you go to data, the test is going to be based on 2019 version. So for 2019 version, importing data is mostly where you will find the information here. The test, again, is going to give you two areas, like one on the top that is the working area, and then at the bottom where you are reading the instructions. And most of the time, it is between 1 to 3 steps that you have to complete. For example, they will give you instructions of opening a CSV file and then import it into your Excel. So you have to click on the appropriate. For example, it shows like this, right? So you have to click on data. You have to click on get data file, and it is coming from CSV. And then when you see the information, then you're going to choose the appropriate file. Something happened to my Excel. You're going to choose the file, and then that's submit. Most of the time, it's something like that, they're going to ask you one activity per question. It's not that you will just go there and open it up and then import it here and then create queries and then import the information. Most of the time, the questions I have seen in the test are mostly based on one step at a time, or sometimes something like that. So for example, say, okay, you have this list of called friends, and then you import it. That's it. Yeah. So and then you click on this, it will finish. It doesn't go into the further stages, as I said. So the parts that you're seeing now, sorry, the parts that you're seeing now are not normally in your test. Maybe they will start from like this is screen, but they don't ask you to do like hundreds of things um, from the beginning. Okay. Um, so again, most of the time we are going to deal with a CSV file or a text file. Um, I have not seen questions for importing information, for example, from PowerPoint, from Access. Um, I've not seen questions like that. Majority of the time, it is when they say importing data, it is mostly for this. And again, I want to tell you something else. Previously, some years ago, the questions were also about importing information from websites, but right now, the websites are not always really helpful for us. We cannot import all the websites. The websites that we want to import, they need to have some specifications. For example, this one that I'm sharing here with you, I can easily import the information here because this is a static table sitting here. So if I go to get, and then I would say from, um, if I say online services, not services, other sources from web. If I go to there to this section, with this, the website that I gave you, we can do that. So we have to import the information here. Again, if you are watching this, watching similar videos, the older versions of Excel, the way that we were importing the information from a website was totally different. So here we're going to connect. And again, Microsoft is working on this part a lot. Every single time you go to Excel, you might see something new in this area. This is where they're creating queries, they're creating connections, things like that. Okay, so you see that right now I'm connected to this website, and then I can see what are the tables. So there are some tables available to me here, this one, and this one. So for example, this one, which is called US dollar exchange rate table, I can click on it and I have different options here. I can just load data, or I would say load to, or I can say transform data. So when I click on transform data, Microsoft Excel is creating a query behind the scene, and it's doing this. Again, for this test that we're talking about in this session, it is not going into a lot of details, but it will ask you some questions. For example, the questions that I have seen here is that sometimes they will give you something like this, and then they ask you to, for example, remove the last row from the list, right? So it's very easy. You can, there are different ways for doing that, right? So the one that they're looking for most of the time is this one, that you click on the row that you don't want, or you can just also go there, click on remove rows, and then say remove top rows, remove bottom rows, remove alternate rows, duplicates, whatever rows you want. So I would say bottom rows. And then here, let's go into, I don't know why my Excel is slow today. Number of rows that I want to remove from the bottom, right? So if I want to just remove the Chinese yuan, the last one that I have here, I would say 1, okay, and then that's removed. So the last row from my table is right now removed. This is what I know, that this was one of the questions in the test. I've seen it coming, like students are having this a lot. This is their difficult question. If you want to see, okay, what kind of difficult questions they have over there, this is an example of a difficult question in this test. Is this what you knew from before? Yeah, you knew that? Like removing any rows from your, when you're importing the information. Yeah, yes, that's good. That's amazing. Another thing they will ask you to do is that sometimes when we get to this page, we are looking at, sometimes you see that the information right now, you see that we have headers here for this table. Sometimes they are not considered as headers. Right now, everything is fine, right? But sometimes you see that we have like column 1, column 2, column 3. It's called column 1, like as a placeholder. So in that case, we will click on this, you see here, and say use first row as headers. So if you use first row as headers, then everything will be fine. Again, using first row as header, this is what I have seen as part of the question. Again, removing some rows from your work, from the top, from the bottom. These are the ones that I have seen. We can also use this Power Query. This is what they call it, Power Query Editor. So I've also seen that they're sometimes asking you to have to use Power Query Editor to, for example, split the columns. So for example, if you have first name and last name in one column, and then we have, for example, first name space last name, or last name comma first name, right? In these areas, when we have a pattern, having a pattern is very important. So in the areas where we see a pattern, we need to we will be able to just do it with this area, this part, and say, for example, I'm going to just do it based on the space that we might have, based on comma that you might see over there. You see, any kind of ways, like how are you going to split that? For example, left most delimiter, or rightmost delimiter, or each occurrence of the delimiter. So anytime that you see the space, comma, or for example, colon, dot, anything, or tab, it's going to give another, or consider it as separation, that it's going to just, you would be able to split your work based on that. Okay. And then as soon as you're done with that, you can say close and load. Now, again, what we had before, previously, when you were bringing the information into Excel, or when you were importing the information into Excel, most of the time it was, oh, there was an error here. Let's do it one more time. I think there was something wrong with the table. I'm deleting this query. We'll do it one more time. So one more time. Other service sources. I'm adding the URL here. Now from the list, I chose this one. Yeah, I think there is something. Okay, so I can do it. I will just here, and then I would say transform data, or I can just simply click on load. If you simply click on load, you will not see any, you'll not see that Power Query section. It's just going to do the job. And then again, the result that you will get here is is added here as a table. And then you see that we are every single time that you import a table like that, you see at the bottom of the page, we have one extra sheet added. So again, they will ask you to do things something like that. Another question that I have seen is that sometimes they ask you, see, this is a table. How do I know? First, because by taking a look at the design, like how it looks like. Another thing that I would like to have here, or the way that helps me to understand that this is a table, is that I see that design table on the top. So when I see design table, it means that this is a table. And now there was a question in one of the exams I have seen that they are asking you to change this table or to turn this table into a range. Do you know how to do that? That is under table design. Very good, Kristen. I know, Kristen, I'm sure if you want to write the test tomorrow, you will easily pass, even today. So no, I know, like, because I know your skills and your capabilities, so that's amazing. So convert to range. So this is how you can easily convert it. Okay, boom, it's a range. It's not a table anymore. Again, it's very important to see that when activities like that happen. Did you see what when I did it, when I deleted some sheets here and then this happened? All of the undo and redo buttons are removed. Again, this is not going to be a part of test. If they will never ask you to see like if it is removed or not, if you can go back with undo or not. But again, I wanted to show you that this is an option. Okay. Let's go and so I talked about importing data. And as I said, like most of the time, they're going to ask you to import CSV file or text file. That's it, not more than that. And then when we have a CSV file, the way that for example, I can show you or I can share information with you showing you one CSV file. For example, when you go to Ontario's data set for COVID-19. We can see some information here that is in CSV format, so I can click on that. And I can download the file. Um, this is a CSV file, right? So if I want to, again, by default, when you install Excel on your computer, it is showing the file as like Excel, but when you look at that, it says comma separated value. So this is comma separated value means that this is CSV, comma separated value, CSV. Now I can right click on it. And by looking at this in Notepad, I can see that you see everything is separated by comma here. So it seems that this is like the first column. How do I know that I'm going to the second column? With this comma. Then this is the information from the second column. How do I know I'm going to the third column? By this comma. Then I have this information, then I have comma, then I have this information, right? So this is what we call it as CSV file. Again, the way that you are bringing that information into Excel is the same. So text CSV, or just go there and then file text CSV. So both of them will take you to the same place. And then it's going to take you to the Power Query, and the one that I showed you. You see here, we have Power Query, and it figured out that the comma is the delimiter, and then I can just say load, and it's going to create one sheet for me with that information. Okay, so this is the one of the parts that you will see on the test. Another thing, again, navigating within workbook. So for example, when you have a workbook going through different parts, like how to add the going to the bottom of the page, going to the I think these are, yeah, this is like what the questions there are like pretty easy. I don't think that we need to do this. Another thing I want to say is like how to search for information. Find and select. Again, there would be different types of search that they're going to ask you. So first of all, we can go with a normal find that we will be using. And for example, you see this one, it says Lambton Health Unit. So if I'm looking for that, Lambton. Now, this is the basic search that I can do. When you click on options, you can see that I have options to look into the whole workbook, or look into just this sheet, and then search the rows, or formulas. I can also look into formulas, match case, and match entire cell content. So which one do I want to have? And I can say find next. You can see, or I can say find all, and here I have all the results. So this was repeated so many times. This is one type of search that they are looking at. Another thing is that when we are looking at search, we're looking for search and replace. So for example, Lambton, this one is, it is sentence case. If I want to uppercase everything, and I click on this, and I can say replace all. So you see, everything 1141 records. We had Lambton in it, and then that Lambton changed into all caps. I can also change the format, right? So if I want to, for example, say, replace it and then change the font or change the color, for example, of all of them, I can do that too. You see, replace all. All of the Lambtons right now have different colors, and they're all caps. Again, I will just undo everything to go back to normal. So this is what we needed to know for searching for data within the workbook. As I said, we are looking at both of them. So we are looking at this one to say if it is within the sheet or workbook. So both of them are the options. Now, insert, remove hyperlink. Again, these are easy questions. I want you to make sure that you know how to do them. For example, if I go to msn.com and I'm going to copy that information, and I will add it to one cell. For example, I create a sheet and I add it here. As soon as you hit enter, in majority of cases right now, it didn't get it as a link. So there are different ways. First, to go to the end and then hit enter, you see it turns blue. And that is how I realize this is a link. You can also do something else. You can right click on it and go to edit hyperlink. Again, if I'm just going to paste another one here, you see this one is not a hyperlink, this one is a hyperlink. So let's see how to remove the hyperlink from this one. Right click, and then I would just go down the pane, down the list, and it says remove hyperlink. Or I can also put a hyperlink there. I can say link, and it's asking like, what do I want to link to? So I can just put the hyperlink address here. And then you see that my cell, my content in my cell turns into blue. So this is hyperlink. Again, they have some sort of easy questions. Again, I think one of these things would be one of your, any of these could be your questions, asking you to remove the hyperlink or add a hyperlink, or even edit the hyperlink. Right click here, edit hyperlink, and if you have anything like what else you want to add here or now, format worksheet workbooks. Again, for the formatting section, you're going to ask you questions like, for example, like this ones that we have here, right? So we have, for example, changing the, the formatting questions are not difficult. They're asking you, for example, to change the color of the cells, change the size, everything that you have available here. Another thing they might ask you is to go to the sheets and then change the colors. For example, they might ask you to say, for example, these two sheets that has the word the US dollar and in their name, change them or select both of them and change them to, for example, red. So you will have this one, hold control, click on the next one. Click on the next one, and then you right click and say cap color, and then I can change it to red. Okay. So this is how I can change the color for these ones. Again, if they ask you to change all of them at the same time, this is how you need to do that. If you do it one by one, then they're not going to accept it as something correct. They would say you didn't do it correctly. So they are looking at your steps, like what are the steps that you take to get the result. Sometimes it's not all about the result. It is the process that they're looking at. Okay, now let me continue. Again, format worksheets and workbooks. Let's see. Yeah, something else that they might ask you here for formatting the workbook and worksheet is this is the part adding the borders. So it is important to know how to add the border and then different types of borders that you have. So these are the ones that are pre-made or that are created for you before. But if you want to create a special one, you can create on more borders. And then here you're going to see the difference. So first of all, I will choose the color that I like. For example, red. I will choose the style. Now I'm going to click on this present section. So I would say for outline and inside. You see, when the preview is like this, now if you click on OK, you will get everything based on the preview. But if you first click on the preview, you're going to make a mistake. Let me show you one more time. More borders. If I first add these ones, and so these are the cells, more borders. You see right now, if I click on those ones here, and then I go and make the changes, you see that if I click on OK, it is not going to get affected because still my preview is red. So now you need to click on these ones or these ones on the top to make sure that you have everything in blue. As soon as you click on it, it will change to the color and formatting that you want. Do you have any questions so far? Modifying page setup. Again, page layout. And then here, you will see that we can change the margins. We can change the, page setup. Again, if you want to have anything like printed portrait or landscape, you can choose it here. The paper type or size. Again, the letter one that we have. And then the other ones, again, we have different standards based on, for example, if you're looking at the legal paper, it is a little bit longer than A4 or the letter one, right? So you see it is 8.5 by 14. The normal one that we are using is 8.5 by 11. So this one is a little bit longer in length. So And then the printing area. Printing area is important in Excel because we can set the printing area. So you see, it says you have selected a single cell for the printing area. So no, I don't want that. I can choose this area and say print area, set print area. Now, here is the area that we're going to have for print, right? So print area, set print area, or I can say clear print area. And again, this is one more thing. I can add page breaks here if I want to create several pages based on the size of the paper that I want to print. I can create page breaks. I can add background picture. Again, it's not very normal to add background picture in Excel because it looks really bad, I would say. I will show you how it looks like. For example, I'm going to look for a flower. And I will add this one, the first one. You see Windows enhanced meta file. Okay, it was not able to bring it in. Let me choose something else. You see, I said it doesn't really look good because, if I am in Excel, sometimes I just want to, have a view like this or zoom in or zoom out. Like, I don't see my picture perfectly. I don't know what that is, right? Um, for this one, it is clear because the flower here looks good, but generally it doesn't really uh, tell us what the picture is, or as I said, normally we are not using a background picture for Excel. It is okay to have a background picture in PowerPoint, in Microsoft Word, but for Excel, it's not that much popular, and I don't really recommend it. So I will undo that. So this was more about the background, choosing the background here. Now the next part is print. Now this is choosing the background. If you want to choose it from a file, from OneDrive, and then print area. So you can also set where the printing area is. Now this one is interesting, and I know that they're sometimes going to give you some questions on this. So you see this one, for example, the one that I created from my CSV file. By the way, if you want to have this CSV file, I'm just going to share that here with you. So the one that I created here, if I want to print this, if I want to print this page, or if I want to print this report uh, on paper, it's going to be difficult for me to understand. For example, when I'm looking at this, what is this if it is just going into the printing? Let me show you how it looks like. So if I want to print it, I will print it on a PDF file. So here I would say print, print, desktop, sorry, downloads, and I will call it print from Excel. So, so you see it's printing 2,550 pages into a PDF file. I will wait for it to get all the numbers. So many pages. Okay. So now this one is finished. And then you can see that you see these uh, dotted lines here, the ones that we have here. It shows where the printings are. So when I open up this file, it says we cannot open it. It was unable to open the file. Oh, there's something wrong here. You see the size is 0 kilobytes. Okay, so I will tell you what happens. What happens is that when you print it, you don't have that first line on the top, and then you don't know what the whole pages are talking about. Like you don't know what is this number, what is this number, what is this, you have no idea about. So how to do it is to click on print titles, and then here you're going to add this one. It says row to repeat at top, so we can click and choose it. For example, I'll just go to the top, control home, which is going to take me to the beginning, and then I will click on this row 1, enter. So row 1 to 1. So I can also change it to row 1 and 2. So it's like two first rows that are going to be repeated. So if you, when you do this, I can show you a print preview. So in the print preview, you can see that here, this is page 1. I see the first row. If I go to page 2, I can also see the first row. So the titles are there showing to us on every single page. Right, so this is very helpful. If I do not have it, if I go to print titles, and if I just remove this one, and if I click on print preview, you can see the first page has the header, the second page, third page, we don't have that information and we don't know what these numbers are. Okay. Adjust height and um, width in the column. This is definitely one of the questions. I've always seen that. I know, I think hopefully you know how to do it. It's very easy. Even if you don't know that, it's very easy. You just need to go to, for example, cell, or maybe like for these ones, when I want to change it, click on format. And again, you can have a row height or column width. So if I change the column width, most of the time in the exam, they will ask you, they will give you like a specific number. For example, they click on this and then change it to, for example, 45, the width of the cell. Again, home tab format, if they are going to ask you to change the height of the row, so it's right now 15, I can change it to, for example, 25, right? Again, I will undo that. Custom header and footers. Again, for header and footer, we will also need to here also the one that I said about the width and height, you can also change them here. This is for a scale to fit. So if you want to fit everything on one page, you can also do this. Now I wanted to talk about header and footer. So I said to go and adjust your header and footer, you can click on print titles. And then we have header and footer here. So you can add anything that you want into the header and into the footer. These are, again, you will see something like that, I guess, too. They're going to, these are like easy questions. I said this test is very easy. The things that you will see there, if you know what I'm talking about in this session, then you can easily write the test. Customize options and views, customize quick access toolbar. So again, options and views that you want to have here. I think you can easily work with those views. Something that they will ask you to do is, you see here at the bottom of the page, I can move to different, this one, it says page break preview. This one is saying page layout, and this one is just the normal one. So I can see this with different types of views. Something else that I want to add, customize options and views. Again, going to this one. We talked about it. So quick access toolbar. So what is quick access toolbar? Let me show you here. For example, when I get these numbers, I have this one, and this is called quick access toolbar. Again, they will ask you some questions to do here. Very easy, very easy. Like when they're asking you, just if you know what the names are or what to do, it's like very easy to choose them here. Nothing very difficult. So again, displaying content view, freeze sheets and rows. So you know how to freeze the sheets or rows. So when you go to view, you can have this freeze pane, and it's showing you how to freeze, like where to freeze. For example, you want to freeze the top row, you will click on it and see right now the top row is going under the freeze mode, so you can unfreeze that. You can freeze, for example, you can click on that, and then choose what are the areas or what are the sections that you want to freeze here. And then you can unfreeze that. Why do we need to freeze that? Because again, because when you are going, when you want to, for example, scroll up and down, you want one part of your screen to stay, and then the rest could move. So this is when we are choosing the freeze option. Changing Windows views, modify basic workbook properties. But workbook properties, you need to know that this area is called backstage. So when you're coming here, just remember that these things are available. And something else I wanted to say is that again, freeze worksheet rows and columns, properties here. Talking about info, this is what you need to do. Again, how to protect your work if you want to open it as or change it to read only, or when it is the final um, submission or final work that you create, you will click on this. It means that um, people would not be able to modify that anymore. If they want to modify that, they would not be able to save on the same file. They can modify, but they need to save as and create another document to place this. Setting a print area, we talked about it. Save workbook in alternative file format. Again, going to save as different file formats that we have here. For example, as I said, we can save it as Excel sheet. We can save it as a CSV file here, as I showed you earlier. We can save it as a web page, just like this one, single file web page. We can change it to a normal web page, which is an HTML file, HTML file. We can also save this as PDF file. So where is the PDF one? Here. PDF file, we can save it as older versions of Microsoft Excel that is here on the top, 97 2003. Right, so these are different options that you need to know for this test. Configure print setting, inspect workbook and issues. Inspecting, I think this is again one of the areas that they're going to give you, they're considering it as advanced for this test. Inspecting workbook, this is where we go. Inspect the documents, check accessibility, check compatibility. So when we inspect it, this is going to check if our workbook, let me inspect document. Oh yeah, first we need to save my, I need to save my Excel sheet, and then I can do this. So I'll put it in downloads. And now, most of the time you see for different things that I have there, I can inspect. If you have not done this before, I recommend that you go and do this before the test. I have seen that in every single test, sometimes they have one question on this area. So let's wait for this to finish. Okay, and you see that it says document properties and personal information is there. You see the name of the author, those kind of information is there. It says we found one or more task pane add-ins, so we can also remove them. So the rest is okay. Hidden names were found. And I can remove them, and then remove them. Here it says modify information. Again, that's like something. Reinspect my work and then close it. So again, just at this level so that you know where that is, where you can find it, and then what are the things to do. That's enough, like info, and then you have inspect work. This is where you can find it. Do you have any questions? So that was one of the areas that I wanted to talk about. So let's take our break. Um, I will give you 10 minutes break. So when we are back from the break, I will continue talking about this. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, so sorry for the delay in returning to the session. Today on campus, everywhere is closed, so it was a little bit difficult to get back into uh, the. I just went outside the building, and it was not easy to return. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to now go into the second part, which is talking about managing data cells and ranges. So first of all, like manipulating data in sheets, again, everybody knows like how to change the data in your sheets. Something, for example, I want to say is that how we are, adding that information together, like you see, paste data by using a special paste options. So, for example, if I go there, when I'm going to copy information, we need to know for this test, like what are these paste options here, right? So there are different types of options, as you know. Again, I don't want to go into details and explain each of them, but these are different options that we will see generally. And again, um, so for example, you can paste it as it is, or you can paste the value only, or sometimes we want to make a link to that, right? So make sure that you know them, as there are going to be questions on that. I'm sure there is at least 1 to 2 questions on paste options. Sometimes they will ask you questions like this. For example, they want to have, for example, say sales, and then they have months. Now they will ask you to complete this by using the flash fill, or sometimes like this fill series that we have available there. So make sure that you know this as well. One of the questions I saw was on this. So there were names, for example, Jack, Peter, and there was a section, it was called email. And what they were doing, they were asking us to use flash fill to put the first names at gmail.com. So I think you know that, right? So it's going to be Jack at gmail.com. And I need to click on it, click and drag it. So you see, this one is copying cells, but if you use flash fill, it's going to adjust the names and the email address. So this is autofill. Okay. Any questions so far? Another one is insert and delete multiple columns or rows. So again, where do you to know like where you're inserting the information, like whenever you're clicking on a cell, if you right click and say insert, one cell, one column will be added to the left side. Or if you are clicking here, and if you right click and say insert, one row is going to be added on the top of that row. So just remember that part. Now, knowing how to delete these cells, how to, for example, if I copy that information and then I copy it here, how can I delete that? Selecting the cell and then choosing this option from here. Now, am I going to delete the cell itself? If I say yes, what's going to happen next? The information is going to be shifted to the left, to the right. What's going to happen? This is also important. When we are dealing with numbers, for example, I'll go back to this one, and I'm going to take some of these numbers, and then I will just go back to this sheet, and I will paste them only as values. So when we are dealing with these numbers, we are looking at, we need to know how to format cells and ranges. Again, different types of formatting for them. One thing for the formatting you need to know is the type of the cells that we are having or type of data that we are dealing with. This is also important to know. So is it general? Is it number? So you can say numbers, right? And then you can see as soon as I change it to numbers, it's looking for the number of decimals, which is by default 2. I can increase and decrease it here. Merge and unmerge cells, right? For example, if you are going to merge these cells, again, this is one of the very, very common questions, to merge some cells or unmerge them. Merge, and then we have different options here. Merge across, merge cells, merge and center. You see, I can merge and center it. And then I need to adjust that. Again, everything like orientation of the cells. Something that I don't know if you know this or not. For example, if I have to say a list of the books, right? So we have, for example, fiction, then you have book 1, book 2, and then you have, for example, I don't know, what are types of book you want to talk about? For example, I would say textbook. Then you have book 3, book 4. So you know that right now I have no space before these, but if I want to create different levels, I can do that. So see, I can choose these fiction and textbook, and I will click on this, increase indent. So if I click on that, when I click inside it, you see that there is no space, because if you add space, it's going to create problems for you later when you want to edit your file, right? But this indent is just going to move them forward without adding space. Again, these 4 books. I can add more indent. So visually, it looks that they have space and they're moving forward, but there's no space. Again, very important to know this. I think they're sometimes asking you to do such things with your activities. And something else we need to know is that if I change the height, for example, from 15 to 30, you see that right now, the information, like this is like more visible if I'm just doing it like this. So again, this is how it looks like. So you need to know everything about alignment. I've not seen questions on this, you know, where you're changing the angle for your work. It is, you know, there is a possibility you can do that, but I have not seen that. So again, I think you know this, like you know how to do it. For example, I can just change the angle clockwise, and then I need to give it a little bit more space to read the information. Anybody having any questions so far? You're okay? Good. Okay, great. Do you want me to go faster or slower, or do you like the speed? Like, do you want me? I can just go a little bit faster and cover, make sure that it's good. Okay. Sales by using Format Painter. Okay, so Format Painter is also there, and I'm going to use it here. So you see, for example, if I change, when I have this cell, and I can change the color also as well here, and so for example, I have this one, and I can I'm going to make it bold, put the information in the middle, something like that. Now, this type of formatting that I want, if I want to copy that into, for example, make sure that this cell also looks like this, what I need to know, what I need to do, I can use a Format Painter, and then this cell will also look like the other cell that I created. So it's going to copy the format. The format includes the color, shading, font size, font type, any of those information, and it's going to be moved or copied to the other one. Wrap text within cells. Again, most of the time when we are adding, for example, if I go to msn.com and I copy a paragraph from there and I bring it here. So for example, I don't know, any paragraph that you like. That's a very interesting topic. Okay, so for example, I'm copying this paragraph, and I will take it to my Excel. And I paste the information here. So you can see that in this case, the information is there, so I cannot see that completely. If I click on this formula bar, I can see the whole information, but when I'm looking at the cell, I cannot see everything there. So you can click on wrap text and give it a little bit more space. So this, and then we'll just change the alignment, right? So if I don't have the wrap text, everything is going to be just in one line. When I have the wrap text selected, it's going to you know, move the information so that it can get adjusted based on the area we have there. Okay. Now taking a look at the, so we need wrap text, apply number formats. Again, different types of formatting for the numbers. When we go to format cells, when we go to number, these are the formats that we want to see, right? So generally, the numbers that we see, if you see a number that is red or that is red and in bracket, or a number that is in a bracket, generally these three are equal to that minus, right? These are different ways that people are showing it. In accounting, for example, in accounting, most of the accountants show the information or show the um, negative numbers as red and in bracket, like the last one here. But again, we could have different ones. Again, if it is printed, for example, in black and white, you don't know if it's red or not. Generally, if we have numbers in bracket or in parentheses, you see that they are, we consider them as negative numbers. But you need to set them here as well so that it reflects on your sheets as well. Again, I think you know like how the currency works. If you want to have any to add any other symbols to this, accounting and currency, mostly they're the same. The only difference is that sometimes they have like different decimals. You can always change the decimals, so nothing to worry about. Date and time. Again, you will see the examples there. I think it's very easy. Like if you get questions on them, because you don't need to make any adjustments. The only thing about date and time on our computers is that we need to see, we always want to make sure that we have date and times set the way that our computer has the information. But this one, because you don't need to type in anything, it's mostly you are choosing from different options. It's very easy and pretty straightforward. Time, percentage, how many decimals you want to have, fractions, scientific numbers. Again, these are the different types of, and then the custom is like when you don't have any specific type, and if you want to create it, you can go with customs. For example, this one, or for example, this one, you can see that there's some placeholders there. For example, let me show you something very easy that is very understandable. For example, when you create something like this, it says month / day / year, and then for year it is adding 4 Y. So it means like, for example, there is 4 digits that we want to add there. And then we have time, so we have hour and minutes for that at the end, and then you can see the sample on the top. Okay. So this is more about the formatting, apply cell formats, the format dialog box, cell style. Okay, cell style is also something important. Questions are rare. They're pretty easy to choose to answer, because normally they do not ask you to create a new cell style. If they do, it's easy. You just create a new cell style and then create it like based on the format, size, whatever you want to add there. You see the font, the type, the alignment, everything, you can set it here. So the format, the style, they sometimes ask you to create it. What I have seen mostly in the exam, they're asking you to choose one specific cell style for some cells, or for one row, or for 1 or 2 or 3 cells. For example, you might have some information here, and for example, say for these 2 cells, change the cell style to, the cell styles, you just need to know that they have a name. You see this one here? When you move your mouse over it, it shows the name. So it is light orange 40% accent 2. You need to know these names for the test. For example, I would choose this one that says light orange 80% accent 2, and then that's it. So why do we need the styles? To keep the the formatting consistent to make sure that, for example, if I'm asking everyone to use the same style, this guarantees that all of the results are going to look the same. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what else here. So clear cell formatting, it's very easy. So when you have your cells, for example, this one, you see the color, and then we also have it, orientation is like 45 degrees. I can clear that cell formatting. So I can, there are different ways to do that. For example, when you click on normal, everything will go back to normal. Like nothing has happened, and everything is like, it looks like the original way that it was created. Okay, reference name. Now I want to give you another example. You see, for example, we have, for example, I'm going to have this example, this data added here. For example, I would say sale, or I would say items, item A, B, C. And then I have, for example, cost or the price, which is, for example, $10, $3, $4. I can choose and add the dollar signs there. Now, what I want to show you is that if I go to the next step and it says, for example, I'm going to calculate the tax. So I just put tax here and I put it 13%. One way is to say cost plus tax is just to say, you need to, again, take this cell plus this cell multiplies by the tax that we have, right? So this is giving us the answer. And now here, I'm just dealing with B1, G1, they're just the name, they don't have any appropriate names. If you want to make sure, when you're creating large databases, or large dashboards, we need to make sure that we have appropriate names for them. And because of that, we give them names here. So we go to the name manager. You can see that we already have some names. I can delete them. And there is something else that now I can add a name here. So first of all, I can add a name to this cell. So instead of calling it 13%, instead of calling it G1, I will call it tax. Okay, so here I can easily say B2 plus B2 multiplies tax. And then you see how it looks like. Make sure that for the test, you practice these things and then you know the icons, and then like whenever you're seeing something, what that is. So enter, I will get the same thing. The good thing about tax when you're using it, there is something very special about this. When you're doing this, you don't need to use any dollar signs, right? Because we have only one tax cell. So you don't need to put any dollar signs for referring to tax sale here. Another thing that we can do, we can also give this range a name, right? So this range is called, for example, you see it's sheet 3, A1 to B4. So A1 to B4, and I will call this part, I will call it, for example, um, items and costs. I cannot have a space in the middle. Maybe I just want to change it to and. Something like that, so then the name, sometimes when we are putting special characters, you will get errors like that when I put and sign, or when you have space, it doesn't really accept it. So we need to put it this way. Anyways, for the test, I think you will be fine for this. Some of the items that I'm teaching you, that I'm working on them here, if you want to practice them and then use them in your regular work activities, it's different from when we are preparing ourselves for the test. So we don't need to first have like a deep understanding of that. We just need to know like how to do it in the test. So this is why I'm going over those kind of things like this. Summarize data visually. Again, if you have some information, summarizing data visually, it means to use any types of these charts. Again, during the exam, the test, for sure they will, I don't know why people who are creating the questions, they love pie chart. So majority of the tests I've seen, people have a pie chart in that. So you will see something from pie chart. Another thing you need to know when you create them, something that is important for them to, important for Microsoft, and they want you to be able of doing it, is that to be able to change the label here and then add different elements. For example, chart title, data label, legend there, like where are you going to have it? These are the things that they mostly want you to do. Maybe changing the chart style, but one of the very common questions in the tests, in Microsoft tests, is moving the chart. When we say move the chart to a new sheet, it's wrong if you just create a new sheet, go there, copy. This is wrong, okay? Copy and then paste it here. This is not what they want. Majority of the time, when people are asking you to move the sheet, it means that you right click on this, or you go to the, or you go and click on chart design and then move the chart. So move the chart from here, or right click on the chart and then move the chart. So either ways, move the chart. You're going to move it to a new sheet or within any other sheets that you have. For example, I right now have sheet 4. I say, okay, move this to sheet 4, or I say, no, instead create a new sheet that represents my chart. Majority of the time, 90% of the time, it's something like this. So even in the test, they will ask you to move it here, or they have a sheet like that, and they want you to move it to specific sheet. For example, say, okay, move it as an object in sheet 3, for example. something like this. This is why do they do that in the test? Because it's very easy to check with computer. It's not. It's super easy to check if you move the cell, if you move this to another sheet or not. It's 100% easy for that. Okay. So we are done with this one. Insert a spark line. So if you want to add spark line, for example, I can easily go into insert and add them here. So these are the lines, and then here. So you see here it says create a spark lines. Again, I don't know why they have spark lines written here, and then they have different types. The one that you will see in the exam is mostly the lines that you will see. So the range is this one. Where do I want to see my spark line? At the end here, at the bottom of that. And then you can see that I can easily do this. This is a spark line. I would say that if you see a question there, they're just going to ask you to create one spark line, nothing more. Okay. Are you tired? Do you want to get a break, or do you want me to continue? You want to take a break, or shall I continue? Continue. Okay. I will continue. So something else that I wanted to say. Let me. Okay. Now, another thing I wanted to say is conditional formatting again. What is conditional formatting? Conditional formatting is what you can find on the Home tab. And then you will click on formats. Sorry, conditional formatting here. And then we have different options. Conditional formatting definitely is one of the questions, or you could have like a couple of questions on that. Again, as I said, it's easy for them to check this if you have applied conditional formatting or not. We need conditional formatting is doing the things for us visually. It's going to visually change the color of some cells based on the rules that we are adding there. So two types of questions you can have for conditional formatting. For example, they will ask you to make, for example, to apply conditional formatting to C1 to C4, and then they want you to highlight the ones that are greater than, for example, $5, right? So greater than that, highlight that. Now, this is something that they will ask you to do it, or sometimes they want you to modify that. For example, right now you see cost plus tax. That's not a number, but it's getting highlighted. And if I want to adjust the range here for my conditional formatting, what should I do? There is no tab on the top for that. You need to click on the cells that you know that they have conditional formatting. And then you go to even if you don't know where the conditional formatting is, and if you want to check that, you need to go to conditional formatting and manage rules. Now, here you see that the rules are there. This is one of the rules that we have. I can double click and edit that. Something that I want to do, I want to remove this C1 from that. So I want it to be C2 to C4. So we see from C1 C1 to C4, um, I will just instead of C1 to C4, I'll change it to this, and I would say okay, and I did it. Right? So again, sometimes maybe there is conditional formatting here, you don't know, right? For example, this is for numbers between 10 to 15, right? So this area, if I just put a number here, for example, 4, it's not going to get highlighted. If I put 14, if I put 14, it's going to get highlighted because there is one. Now, you don't know where those are, if there are any conditional formattings or not. The only way to check that is to just go and then look for manage rules. And again, you see current section, the worksheet. So these are the conditional formattings that we have in this whole worksheet. Okay. Apply built-in conditional formatting, remove conditional. So these are the things I told you, like that's very easy. So you add them, and if you want to edit them, again, anywhere on your worksheet, you have these ones. I can just delete them if I don't want them, or I can add, or I can edit them if needed. So I'm going to go a little bit faster, going over the things that we have creating and for creating and format tables. So how do we create tables here? For example, if you're looking at this area, this could be this we can consider or change this from range to table. So how do we do that? By clicking on this format as table. Again, something that you need to know for this is that we have names for them. So for example, this is a blue, table style medium 2. Like this is, for example, blue table style light 9, right? So if you know the names, you're successful. You can just easily do that during the exam. Create Excel tables from range. Again, this is a range that we have, and then you click on this, and then you will create that. That's easy. Apply this table style. I talked about it. Oh, table style. So when we change this to a table, for example, like this, and I need to check if I have a header or not. Now, there are different styles for this one, right? So when you click on table design, you can see that we have table styles, and then we can choose any table style. Again, maybe they will ask you to go and make some changes to the table, among one of those easy questions for the test. Something else that I can add for table, I can add the total row here. You see, when I go to table design, I can add a total row easily, like adding and removing it. Another thing could be done is that I can create a pivot table based on this table that I have. I can you see, remove the duplicate data if there is anything, any specific color, a column. So say, for example, for example, if I have like 2 items, both of them are A, it's like, where do you want to find the duplicates? Which column? Items, cost, or cost and tax? So I can say, I can choose the ones that I want. Okay, so as I said, these are the things that we need to know for our tables. Something else that I would talk about it is this one. Filter, sort, data type. So now, the information that I imported from my CSV file, the ones that I have here, you see I can click on sort and filter, and I can click, I can say smallest to the largest, I can just do too many things here. But something, and I can clear the filter. Now there is something that says custom, something here, this one, that says custom sort. So I can sort it based on different levels. For example, I can sort it by, for example, what is that? Um, let me, so for example, in this table, for example, I can sort it based on the date. You see, I can say sort based on the date, oldest to the newest or newest to the oldest, whatever you like. And then I can sort it and another by another thing as well. So it's a add level. So first sorted by date and then sorted by, for example, PHU name. Or I can just move it to the top. I can just say, or I can just delete these levels. I can just add one more level first by the PHU name, then by date. You see, right now, everything is right now first sorted based on the PHU name. For example, all of the Brown County health units are together, and then all of those Brown County health units are right now sorted based on the date. So first based on the name, PHU name, then based on the date. You see right now, I have all the Brown County ones. How many do we have? Wow. If I want to see like what are the other ones that I have, these are the ones. These are all the ones that I have. So right now it's based on the Brown County, and then you see here. Now this one, the last one, so it's based on the PHU name and then sorted by date. And again, this one again sorted by based on this and the date one more time. So this is how you can have multiple layers of sorting with this custom sort. Right? For example, I will give you another example. If you have a list of people that are, you have a list of people, for example, living in Canada, different provinces, different cities, and then you have their gender, you have their name. So you can sort it based on the province, then based on the city, and then based on the gender. Or you can sort them based on the gender and then based on the city. Or you can sort them based on the, for example, province and city. That's it, right? Or province and gender, whatever. You can sort them at different levels with this. You will have a question definitely on this. Now, filtering records is something that you will see here. So again, sort and filters, I can just say clear all the filters. I can also go to filters and you see when I say filters, it means this drop down items. These are the filters that we can filter. So we can just say, for example, filter something like conditional formatting, but conditional formatting is dealing with the color. When I go to filter, for example, I would say something that begins with B. Now, everything that I have only starts with B. The rest of them, as you can see, nothing is getting selected. Only the ones that are having B are shown to me. I can click clear the format, the filter. I can also clear the filter from here. So this is how we are looking at that. So I think we finished this section as well. Um, Performing operations by using formulas and functions. Again, most of the formulas and functions you need to know here are sum, average, max, mean, count, count A, count blank, right? These are the ones, you can see them here. So we have average, max, mean, sum, count, count A, count blank. These are the ones, and then we have some formulas left and right. You know, this is when you are formatting the text. Again, these are the formulas that we were not using them before. I will add them to the chat box if you want to go and practice them. Mostly these are, we are using them for working with text when we are dealing with text in Excel. So I'm going to show you some of them, but again, we will not get the chance to go over every single one. If you want me to check any of them in particular, I'm happy to do that. But not all of them, unfortunately. We don't get so much time on that. So, for example, I have some names, and I'll add my first name there. For example, Jack Welsh. Then we have Andrew Hunter. Then we have, for example, Cheryl Lee. Then we have Andrew, for example, Jackson, right? So we have these names there. And one of the formulas that I can use, the one that you saw, it says right. So it is very interesting. You can still see those information when you're also working in the exam. So you can see the formulas, which one is which, and then what you can do with them. So for example, right returns the specific number of characters from the end of the text string, right? So for example, if I say right, and then here is the text that I have, and then how many characters do you want to add there? For example, I would say 5. You can see D N A Z H 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 characters from the right side, from this side of my right side of my text is chosen. Again, why do we need that? For example, you might have some instead of this one, for example, you might have some address here. And then here it says, for example, everything, for example, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, for example, what's that? For example, Blue Drive, Markham, Ontario, for example, I don't know, the postal code. For example, L6T0H4, whatever you want. Now, if you want to, if everyone is following the same pattern for the address, if you want to pull out the postal code from this list, postal code, how can I get that? I would say, take a look at this list, and then how many characters from the end do I need to take to just take this one? How many do I need? Do you think, you know the number? So here I should say write, and here is my text. Beautiful, that's correct, because there are letters and numbers plus a space, that is 7. I told you that I believe in you and your knowledge, and then you can easily get 100%. Okay, so that's correct. 7 is correct. Now, this is again right. If you want to choose, for example, you can say, okay, now I want to find for example, the unit number or the number, the house number that we have. So number, if you want to get that number, you say, okay, now I'm going to choose from left. Sorry, equal left. And then from this one, here is the text. How many characters? 3. Right? So the unit number or the number for the house or whatever number you want to have, you can just pull it out. As long as you have the consistency in your data, this is going to work beautiful. Again, if I want to say mid, the same thing as like text, a start number, number of characters. Again, mid is the same thing, is doing the same thing. So left, mid, right. Another format is upper. Converts a text, a string, to all uppercase letters. Okay, so if you want to do that, I would say I'm going to choose this one and say address, and I would use upper formula here. And I'm going to say equals upper, and I'm going to choose this. So you can see everything in my cell is, was turned to uppercase. Again, I can change this by changing it to lowercase. So it's a equal lower. That's the opposite, right? So everything will be lowercase. Another thing, returns the number of characters in text string. So sometimes you see here, I was, for example, for the postal code, I got this number 7 because I was looking at it. Sometimes you don't know how many characters are there. For example, you can say everything that you have, for example, minus something. So you want to get the total. For example, here, if I would say len, it's like for length, right? So len, and then you see this cell, this address that I have on the top has 36 characters. Okay. And then, for example, if I want to get the postal code, I can use the formula within the formula. Again, I don't want to make this so complicated. So just for now, you need to know these rules and then these formulas and what they do. Something else that I think they will ask you to do it is that they're going to give you concatenate and text joint functions. Let me show that to you. So if I have, for example, first name, let me just delete that. For example, I'm sure they always have one question on this. First name, last name. So for example, here we have Jack, and then here we have Welsh, right? You can have like a list of thousands of people, right? I think you know that better now. And then here we have full name. Now, if I want to add these two together, one formula, it says concatenate is a list of range of text strings. So I can say concat this one and this one. So let's see what happens. So what happens is that This is putting everything together, right? And if I want to create one space in the middle, I need to, if I just put a space without a quotation, it's not going to work. If I put it as inside the quotation, it will work. So this one is first name and then space last name, right? This one is with the space. And again, you can concat or concatenate or just add them together. And I put like this one that is putting one space there. Another way of doing this, again, we all know that you can use the full name and then you can do the first one and then ask flash fill to do this. Another way, for example, if you want to say concat, and then you're adding, for example, last name, comma, and again, if you want to put a comma there, it should be in a quotation. Otherwise, it doesn't really recognize it. You see, this one is like Welsh, comma, Jack. And if you want to add space, you need to do this. Right? Something like this. So this is concat. Another formula is text join. So let me show you text. So we have text join. So it says concatenates a list of or range of text string using delimiter. So again, the same thing. It says, so what is delimiter? I would say comma. Ignore empty cells, right? True. And then the text that I want to have. Again, text joint, concatenate, concat, these are the ones I'm sure that you will have either one or two of them, both of them there. So again, this is good to know. Work on it to take a look at that and then try to use it in different formulas so that because we didn't have it before. This is what I'm saying. We didn't cover these two, three formulas in the previous courses we had. Create charts. I don't know why oh yeah, that one of them is like on the top, and these are the ones. So creating charts and chart sheets. So we talked about it before. Again, charts. This is very popular to create charts, and then I'm sure that you will get questions like that. But again, you know how to deal with them for sure, because they are pretty straightforward. Again, you're going to check that area and then create it for modify charts, and then format charts. So everything about charts, if I want to review them here, again, when you're creating the charts, if you know how to first you need to check your range, and then you're going to choose, for example, the appropriate chart for that. And then this is where we are, when you go to chart design, where you're going to change the elements, how you can change the quick change it and then have a quick layout, how you can change the colors, and how you can change the styles that we have here. Something else is that when you want to just change the data, so you see, for example, data is maybe, for example, I have another thing over there. So let me delete this one, and I would say, for example, number of employees, for example, working there, right? So for example, I have say 2 people, 1 person, 3 people, 2 people. So let me change the formatting of this one as well. Okay, so if I have all of these 3, now if I go to my step to my chart and say, okay, now let me go and see the information there. Select data. You see right now I have sales, I have number of employees, and I have January and February. But I don't want to see the number of employees on this cell, in this chart. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'll just click on this and remove the check mark, and then that's it. So again, if you have to sometimes work with this data selection, this is how you can do this. And then you can change the chart type. Again, this could be a question, for example, to change a chart type, for example, from clustered column. This is what we have as clustered column, right? Or this is another type of clustered column. So change it, for example, from this clustered column to pie chart, right? You just come here and then make the changes. And then changing the formatting, it is changing the color, how it's going to look like, all the information there. Again, the design itself, you can change it as elements. Something else before I forget, you can also add the make changes there. These are not everything. This is not everything that you will see for the charts. When you double click on the elements, you can see that we have format data, series. Again, when you go to format, you can also click on this and then have this, or you can double click on that. So again, under format, you click on format section. And then now this is talking about different sections. So in this chart, which area am I talking about? For example, chart title. Now, what do I want to do with chart title? I have lots of options here. Text direction. For example, I can just change it to stack. Okay. I can change it to this one with, for example, again, horizontal. I can change the angle. You see, I can change it right now to -27, going back to plus something. So this is for the chart title. We can make changes to the legend of this. We can make changes to the plot area, horizontal axis, vertical axis, depending on what type of chart we are using. You see vertical axis, and then we have the horizontal axis. So how are they going to look like? You can make the changes there. So this is what, again, the formatting here, the format selection is very important. And I think if you have tests, it would be good to work on this, practice a little bit. I would say, that covers everything that I wanted to teach you today. And I would say if you want to write the test, work a little bit on the charts, the formatting section, work a little bit on the formulas, make sure that make some things there. Practice a little bit on the practice a little bit how the formulas work. Make sure that you know this. Something else is to manage tables. Again, we know, I think you know enough about that. Managing sales ranges, again, you know enough. And managing workbooks, I think you have all the knowledge for that. So if you have not already checked the SAM, I told you before that I made SAM available for everyone who is joining this class or this workshop. So there is one um, course available there. You can join that section if you are interested. And that is called Microsoft Exam Excel Associate. And when you go there, you can see that there are books that I add there, and then there is one exam that you can go there and take a look at the questions and then see the questions. Again, if you want to write the test, going through these questions will be really helpful. You can check your knowledge, you can see what you are missing, and then everything there. So again, everything that you have right now, can we have a copy of that Google Sheet list? Sure, you can. I will be emailing everyone I will I will copy this, and I will, when I'm sending the recorded session to everyone, I will put this one as well in the email. Yeah, so if you want to, I would say, whenever you want to prepare for the exam, whenever you want to write the exam, these are the things I would say. Register, because if again, if you feel that you are comfortable, if it is like more than 70% comfortable, register first. Because if not, everybody will have, like, as a human being, we normally try to procrastinate that or push the things a little bit further and say, okay, I will just do it later, maybe this week, maybe at the end of the semester, maybe next year. So I would say register first whenever you think that you will get a chance to have like 1 or 2 days to prepare yourself for the test. And then you have different sources. Again, the sample exam that you have that you will get from Certiport by registering with Seneca College. The one that I made it available on SAM. So these are two different sources that you can check the questions. And again, I told you the topics that are going to be in the exam, and then I'm going to send them to you so that you can see them. And again, that's it all. You don't need anything else for your exam to be successful. I think you can easily get it. I would be happy to know whenever you're certified. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can also see your accomplishments there, or you can also email me. I would be more than happy to see those success stories. Okay, do you have any questions, anything that you want to add to our class today before we finish this workshop?
I'm okay on my end, but again, thank you.
My pleasure. It was great. I get motivated whenever I see like students are also learning, and then they are willing to learn more and then improve their knowledge and go to the next level. So thank you for joining today's session. I enjoyed that too. Okay, so I will finish today's session. Yeah, Shvi, if you've got any question, or Kristen, or when people are watching this recorded session, if you've got any question, you can always reach out to me. I would be more than happy to answer your questions. You have my email address. This is how I communicated with you. It is navid.nazhand@Seneca College .ca. So thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Thank you. Thanks, and goodbye.